Hi everyone, it's Daniel here. Today I'll be doing a review of the sitcom Watching because it's one of my favourite sitcoms of all time and it's highly underrated. So without further ado, let's begin. I'm doing a voiceover review because why not? So yeah, let's start. Watching is a British sitcom that lasted between 1987 and 1993. It lasted 7 series, 56 episodes, and was brilliantly written by the great late Jim Hitchmough. Yeah, he wrote the show when he was nearly in his 50s. It was originally a script for Not 9 O'Clock News. It was originally written as a sketch, a couple bird watching. However, they immediately rejected it. However, he carried on. His dreams were crushed, but he didn't stop. He wanted this dream to happen, and then it did. Yeah, it became a brief radio series on BBC Radio 4 with a different cast. And then ITV commissioned a series in 1987. So, yeah, it's a really good series. And, well, it's not good, it's amazing. It's actually one of my favourite sitcoms of all time. Got the box set for my 19th birthday. The DVD box set is definitely worth it. I'm going to do a review on that in the future. And, yeah, I think Jim Hitchmough was proud of this show. Well, at least the early series, because he's written two well-written characters, and they were played by amazing people. Anyhow, let's move on. Let's talk about the story and the characters. Malcolm and Brenda, a couple from Merseyside, different size, very different people, but, they still love each other despite their on and off relationship, and, they learn a few new things, have some funny adventures, and realise they have more in common than they thought they did when they first met. So, yeah, lovely stuff. Yeah, Brenda Wilson, played by the brilliant Emma Ray, who is sadly not acting anymore. She retired after 1999, after the series My Wonderful Life, which she played the lead character in that as well. I've not seen that, however, she'll always be well known for playing Brenda and Watching. Anyhow, Brenda, she's a young, ambitious, but very troublesome, and she's a very sarcastic, woman, She just loves causing trouble, and she plays this watching game in her local pub, The Grapes, with her sister Pamela. Yeah, they play that. Basically, they have to, every time someone walks into the pub, they have to guess their age, their name, and their occupation, that sort of thing. Yeah, they love it. They're young. They're just, trying to make use of their life and have a good time. Yeah, they both live in the flat together, and, they just have to cope with each other. They argue quite a bit in the first 3 series. However, Brenda changes quite a lot throughout the series. She becomes more independent, and she's the one who confronts Malcolm whenever he's been an absolute dimwit. Yeah. Anyhow, moving on, we have Malcolm Stoneway. He's great. He rides a motorbike. In the first 3 series, he works in a closed department, and then he resigns and then starts his own business with motorbikes, which is fair enough. He lives with his mother Marjorie. He can't stand her. He finds her annoying, but he copes with her, and they do have their moments. However, she can't stand Brenda at first, which causes tension. However, unlike Timothy and Phyllis from the sitcom, sorry if you've ever watched that, Phyllis, Timothy's mother, she can't stand Timothy seeing other women, ends up ruining his relationships with them. However, Malcolm's the opposite of Timothy. He just doesn't care. He wants to move on. He's at the time of that episode, I think it was Visiting Part 2, Series 2, Episode 4. He's like to her. He says, I'm 30. So he's 30 years old, and he can do what he wants with his life, and he's happy with Brenda, which, yeah, so on and so on. Anyhow, Malcolm's a great character. In the first episode, when he and Brenda meet, we find out his birthday, September 3rd. His star sign, Virgo, of course. And his name, which Brenda thinks it's Arnold because of his nose. Brenda's sense of humour is just, like, brilliant. Like, she definitely gets the most laughs in the show, and Malcolm. He becomes more of a dimwit in the later series and, you know, a bit dumb, I would say. Towards, like, series 5 to 7, you know, when he meets someone else, and, yeah. This review, I actually want to focus more on series 1 to 4, and then next I'm going to do a second part of this review where I focus on series 5 to 7, the 90s series. We'll be talking a little bit about the 90s series. You know, series 4 lasted from late 1989 to 1990, so I guess that's that. Anyhow, moving on, we have Liza Tarbuck, which at the time of me recording this video is her birthday, so happy birthday, Liza Tarbuck. She's great as Brenda's older sister, Pamela, her big sister. Pamela the big boxer, I think that's what they call her in the first series, you know. In the second series, series 2, episode 2, where they go to the nightclub, she meets David, her later husband, and he's brilliantly played by John Bowler, you know, David Lynch, coincidence. They get married. Yeah, they have an on and off relationship too, but you know, they're married, so their experiences are different. You know, tension happens in the third series. Malcolm and Brenda are eating at a restaurant. They catch David with his ex-wife Charlotte, and you know, doing the goodbye kiss, and then Pamela finds out, and then she takes David out to that restaurant for lunch, and then ends up getting revenge on him when he tries to explain everything, and none of them are believing him. But you know, she's got another partner in the first series, Sidney Clough, played by Philip Fox, who played the first Baldric in the Blackadder pilot, which was actually aired this year, so that's pretty cool. Philip Fox, underrated actor, and you know, Sidney, he's just, yeah, Brenda hasn't got him, but you know, Brenda's very confrontational. You know, she confronts Malcolm whenever he's in the wrong, and always tries to do the best. But you know, people find her annoying, and you know, I know I keep saying that a lot, but once you watch this show, yeah, she actually says that in a series 4 episode. She gets revenge on this later character called Chris, who works for Malcolm at his motorbike place, and they get caught kissing because of Pamela, and that, you know, Brenda has to tell Malcolm and admit everything, which he ends up getting cross, and they don't talk to each other. However, they sort things out. Chris moves on to find another job just before Malcolm fires him, and guess that's that. Luckily, we never see Chris again after the first half of series 4. Moving on now, we have Patsy Byrne as Malcolm's mother, Marjorie Stoneway. She has a cat called Beethoven. She's great. Oh, she's amazing, played by, you know, of course, you know, Patsy Byrne, who played Nursing Blackadder 2. Yeah, she's great. I can't see anyone else playing these characters because, like, the actors are definitely the characters. They work. The chemistry is great between them all. And Marjorie, you know, she's very protective over Malcolm. Still treats him like a child. Malcolm's father sadly passed away, which, you know, he talks about in the Twitching special. That episode is actually one of my favourites. They have a few episodes where Malcolm and Brenda are at their best. Mostly the earlier episodes, because I feel like the stories were better. So we're just going to focus on series 1 to 4 today. You know, obviously Malcolm and Brenda meet, you know, and at the end of the series, the last episode, that, you know, after having a bit of tension between each other, they had their first kiss. And, you know, that's just lovely. Yeah, that's just great. Anyhow, we've got another character, Terry Milton, played by Perry Fenwick, who's been in many other shows. This was his first sitcom appearance, I think. Yeah, he was quite young at the time. Emma Ray was. as well. Coincidentally, Paul Bound was 30 when Malcolm said he was 30. You know, they're both 30 at the time, so give Jim an ideal. Make Malcolm the same age as his actor, which is fair enough. Anyhow, Terry, he's annoying as well. He gets on Pamela's nerves mostly. When Brenda said her name was Pamela to Terry, and then Terry took Brenda out to the pictures, and then Sydney was like, Pamela's been here with me and all that, and yeah, that's just a really funny scene. And Terry's just really confused, and he's like, when Malcolm introduces Terry to Brenda, he's like, Brenda! And Terry's just a great character. It's a shame he stopped appearing after series 3, but he luckily did come back in the last 3 episodes, which, very funny character and brilliantly played by Perry Fenwick. I think he has a little bit of the thing for Brenda as well, which Malcolm gets really jealous of. But that's just Terry. He tries to impress ladies. Susan Roberts, another character, Malcolm's friend from school. Brenda gets really jealous of her, but she ends up with Terry, and they have an on and off relationship, which I'm not surprised. Anyhow, moving on, we talked about some of the characters. The Grapes Pub, regular Cedric, played by Bill Moores, who has been in many other shows. This was his last show before I assume he retired after this. We've also got Harold, played by Alti Cozzi, the blind pub landlord. He's great, and he appears throughout the whole series. Whenever they go to the Grapes, he's always there serving, and he's just funny. He literally, like, one episode he says to Susan Roberts, he's like, hey up love, you've dyed your hair. And he thinks Brenda's dyed her hair. It's funny, and he gets his hand stuck in the beer. And then Malcolm's like, it's full Harold. Yeah, Harold's great. Funny thing about Cedric, they call him Cedric, but they don't know his actual name. And then he ends up getting with another regular, Frida. Which, that's nice to know. There's a lot of romance in this show. Bit of tension, a bit of war between the characters. However, I guess that's reality. That's what I like about this show, to be fair. This show's just funny, but it's heartwarming at the same time. I'm glad the show's not all about the comedy. Anyhow, moving on. What is there to talk about in this show? Well, it was produced and directed by Les Chatfield, who I've not actually heard of. And the executive producer for the show was David Liddiment, which, fair play. Series 1 aired in 1987, and Series 2 1988. Series 1 used millimetre film, however Series 2, all the location scenes were filmed in videotape. Most shows weren't even filmed in videotape then, Only Fools and Horses, Actually, this show is basically sort of like Only Fools and Horses, except focusing on 2 sisters. Just them 2 in the flat, just no one else. But, you see, obviously Only Fools and Horses, if you've watched that show, which I bet you have, Del and Rodney, they live with Grandad, later on Albert, and they have to try and make money. Brenda finds a job in at the end of Series 2. And I can tell she misses Malcolm, and, they don't want to leave each other. And they just love each other. Actually, in Series 4, Malcolm proposes to Brenda. However, unfortunately, she declines and says she's not ready, which is fair enough. Yeah. This show won an award because, British comedy. It won the British Comedy Award, which is fair play. Marjorie, luckily later on, she becomes more keen on Brenda, especially when she's drunk. Oh, Auntie Peggy. She's great as well. Auntie Peggy, Malcolm's Auntie Peggy, played by Elizabeth Spriggs. She's great. She only appears in a few episodes, but it feels like she appears in more, She's great and all. She loves Brenda. and treats her much better than Marjorie does. The best episodes, in my opinion. Yeah, let's talk about my favourite episodes. Series 2 has great episodes, you know. Brenda's got friends, Donald Duck, what she wears on her head in the first episode of Series 2. And Jeffrey, the dog puppet, in the dining episode. That one's really good. That episode where it's basically Malcolm and Brenda at their best. Brenda's birthday, and even better, the episode before, and they've literally made up, and Malcolm teases Brenda, saying like what's it? This scene right here, which is from my video, watching the greatest moments, part 1. Let's see. Brenda thinks he's gonna propose to her, but no, it's a rolled up piece of paper, and then she whacks him on the head with it. Teasily, they wind each other up, you know. Twitch, and that's another great episode. Malcolm and Brenda at their best. That episode is absolutely insane. Like, we focus on Pamela and David quite a bit in the early series, which is great. They end up having 2 children, which is really nice. I haven't watched the show in a little while. It's been since August since I last watched this show, and guess what? I'm going to rewatch it soon. So, yeah, great characters, great chemistry, just an amazing show. I love this show so much. I'm going to do a review of series 5 to 7 sometime soon. Series 1 to 4, definitely the best series of the show. Definitely worth the watch. To be fair, there's no bad episodes. Like, the humour's great, the characters aren't that cold to each other, which is really nice. And it's definitely worth the watch. If you love shows like Only Fools and Horses, Blackadder, or I get reminded a bit of Gavin and Stacey. It's not exactly the same, but, you know, obviously Gavin and Stacey wasn't filmed in front of an audience. However, I just love this show, and it's underrated, and if you've not watched it, then yeah, if you have watched it, that's great. Let me know what you think of it, and that'll be it for my review of Watching. So many great scenes like this one, and yeah, thank you for watching, everyone. This has been my review of the show Watching. Stay tuned for the second part of this review, and yeah, anyhow, peace and love, take care all, I shall see you next time. Yeah. Goodbye.